good. Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is Erika Ferenczi from the Unstoppable Female. And today I want to share with you a message that is very dear and close to my heart. And that is, as I've been sharing with you in the past probably week, I wrote a book. And I am hosting this big event, this party, if you will, to launch the book. And I have a lot of surprises and great prizes for all of you if you want to get the book. But the thing is, you're going to hear all about that on Monday, so I wanted to give you the preview about what that is and tell you to be on the lookout for the book. So the name of the book is Beyond the Lies, The Ways Women Sacrifice Freedom by Relying on Others. And what I wanted to share with you today is two things. Number one, share with you why is that I wrote this book, and number two, share with you why is that I decided to publish the book. Because the truth is that the book is a kind of a biography of my own story and the learnings that I had gotten since that moment that it's actually the first chapter of the book, that it's called Enough is Enough. So I truly believe that every single person in the world, especially I believe that sometimes women, we women get to a point in our lives in which the life that we're living in that moment, or the life that you're maybe living in this moment, is dramatically different from the life that you were expecting to live. Your circumstances, your relationships, your financial situation, maybe even your health, the mother that you're being is different from that which you expected, those expectations, those ideas that you had about your life. And in that moment, when we get to that point in our lives, we really have two options. We kind of pretend that nothing is happening and try to go with the flow and try to make it work and try our best to make things better, or we make a stop in the way. We make a stop, a hard stop, and sometimes we say, enough is enough. I am not going to live my life like this. So if you know a little bit of my story, I woke up one day in a place where nothing was working in my life. Everything seemed well, right? I was married, I had 2 kids, I was living abroad, but the truth is that my inner world was very different from that. My relationships were in a bad place, my health was in a bad place, I was overweight, I was not being the mother that I wanted to be, and to be honest, it's really hard to admit this and here in public and social media. So just be nice to me, please. So nothing was working, and I woke up one day and the pain got so bad. My situation got to a place that it was so bad that was my moment when I said, enough is enough. I'm not going to live like this. This is not the woman I want to be. This is not the mother that I want to be. This is not what I signed up for. I want more out of life. And in that moment, I believe that we get to that place and we start asking ourselves, well, now what? Right? Now what? Because I know that I don't want what I'm living right now, but I don't know what I want, and what is worse, I don't know how to change it. So obviously in that moment is where my whole journey of personal transformation started, going inside and searching for answers and connecting with that part of myself and that part of higher power that I had been disconnected from for a while, and trying to make sense of everything that was happening. Why were those things happening? How is that I had repeated the patterns that had been in my family for several generations? And that's where the story starts. That's where my book starts. Obviously, it's a very, very personal, vulnerable, unedited script of my life. And it's the story of the process of how did I go from that moment in which I had nothing. I had not a penny to my name. I was living in a different country. I couldn't work. I was overweight. My relationships were in a bad place. My health was in a bad place, to the moment in which I am now, which is truly, I'm going to tell you, my life is not perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not pretended to be perfect, but I am living a life of purpose, a life of happiness, a life of monetary abundance, but internal abundance. So I wrote this book in the hopes of sharing the message, sharing the message of the things that, especially women, we we internalize from society, from media, from our families, from subliminal messages that we hear all the time about, well, if you only do this, you're going to be safe, or if you can only find your Prince Charming, or the person that is going to rescue, or marry into it, or have a good marriage, or find a man that is going to save you for God knows what, you are going to be fine. And I think that those things are a lie. Those things are a lie. I also believe that unconsciously and unintentionally we internalize the fact that letting somebody else, whether it's your parents or your husband or somebody else than you, be in charge of your financial destiny, it's okay and it's safe. And the truth is that if that happens, I know that you will eventually get to a place in which you're not going to be happy, you're going to be sad, you're not going to agree with the decisions they make, and you can't do anything because you don't have financial independence. So one day when I was talking with a good mentor of mine, she said, well, Erika, if you could change one thing in the world, if you could change one thing in the world before you pass, before you transition, what would you change? And without a shadow of a doubt, I said, I would change and I would make sure that not one woman ever would have to make her decisions based on money, based on her financial situation. Meaning that I would make sure that you can make any decision you want, irrespective of the money. Why? Because you're independent, you're fulfilled, and you're living a life of abundance and satisfaction. And that is my message, and that is what the book is about. And that is all the journey, all that I learned, all that I did, all the things that I would like to say to the women in the world, of saying, no, it's not safe to let somebody else control your financial destiny. You must be in charge, not in control, because I believe control is an illusion, but in charge of every aspect of your life. And if other people want to criticize you, or other people don't agree with you because you're doing that, you know what? So what? Let them be, let them go their way, and you go your way. So this is what this book is about. It's going to be available on Monday. I will come back here on Monday, probably. I don't know exactly the time, but I'll tell you tomorrow what time I will be live. I will be sharing some parts of the book. I will be telling you a little bit more stories about why I did it, and sharing the message of empowerment, strength, confidence, and abundance for women, but for everybody in the world. Because I believe that, all women, we are brilliant and strong and happy and exuberant and resilient and beautiful. But when a woman has her own money, she becomes unstoppable. And that is the reason behind everything that I do in my brand, and that's the message that I want to share with you. Anyways, here in this video, there is a link for for support. So what I'm asking is, if you be willing, if you click that link, you can go to a fabulous application that's Thunderclap, that if you give it your permission, you just say yes, it's completely free, you don't have to give them your information or nothing. Then what happens is that you're supporting the message of the book, and then on Monday or Tuesday when it gets released, then it gets posted to different social media channels. So if you would be willing to do that, I would be forever grateful. All you have to do is click the link that is on this video. And then the second message that I have for you today, and this is a little bit more personal, has to do with the reason as to why I'm publishing this book. And the truth is that I wrote this book probably close to a year and a half ago, something like that. I wrote this book. It was a really hard period of my life because I had to remember all the stories, and I had to relive all the things that were so painful at the moment. But I wrote the book, I pushed through, I had my physical copy, but the truth is that I never published it. And the reason why I never did it, I think there are many reasons. I was busy, I didn't make it a priority, and all these reasons, but I also, it's very vulnerable and it's very raw and real. So I was afraid of publishing it. And until one day, I had a dream, I had an intuition that had to do with my grandmother. And if you know me, you know that grandmother passed away. I think it's close to 6 years ago, and she was a very important figure in my life. When I was 6 years old, my parents divorced, and my mother went out to work, and in order to provide for our family and to give us a good lifestyle, so she was busy. And my grandmother, my grandma, is the person who stayed with me at home. She stayed with me at home. She raised me. She gave me love and presence, and taught me compassion, and taught me spirituality, and taught me to pray, and all these beautiful things. And she passed away around 6 years ago. It was a really hard moment in my life, but I truly believe that she's still with me. She's still with me. And one day I had this dream in which she was speaking to me, and she was saying, oh my God, I'm sorry. She was saying, Erika, you must publish your book. You must bring the message. Like, you wrote that book for that message. Why aren't you publishing it? And I continued to hear this voice again and again. And I was like, oh my God, I must do something. So if you know me, I'm highly spiritual, and I want to pay attention to the signs. So I made a commitment, and I said, my grandma is telling me that I should publish this book. Well, I should overcome all my fears and my insecurities and my pretext and my excuses as to why I'm not doing this, and I am going to put the message out there in the world. So really, the message of this book is a message of empowerment, a message of confidence, to help women own their power, to help women stop apologizing for who they are, what they want, and the kind of life that they want to live. I'm going to make it available starting this Monday. If you can support me by pressing the link below, I would be forever grateful. And I hope that I get to see you here again on Monday for a short live stream speaking about the book and giving you some value and nuggets that you can expect from the book. Anyways, leave me your comments below. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend with your friends, with your family, with your loved ones. Make your life count every single day. It's a present. Every single day you get another opportunity to make it amazing, and make it count. So make it count. So this is Erika Ferenczi from the Unstoppable Female, and I will see you again maybe tomorrow. And let me just check